Welcome to News Video Clip. Last month, President Donald Trump and members of his cabinet went to the NATO summit in Turkey. Now, when they got on Air Force One to leave, Trump was actually smuggled out of the plane inside a catering cart and taken to a secret second plane. But everybody else, including his cabinet members and members of the military and the press, they were all left on Air Force One to be decoys. Why? There was an alleged assassination plan by the Iranians to blow up Air Force One. So everybody else was used as a decoy while Trump was safely aboard this second plane. Amazingly, Trump was asked about this, and he claimed that he was the one who was at greater risk because he was secretly on the second plane. Jennifer Welch at I've Had It has the video.
Well, I don't know. I think actually the plane that I flew on was at greater risk. I think it was at greater risk because that would be the plane I think that they would be more likely to go for.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, please. All right, I'm just going to go there. I think that there was a conversation had with Trump and somebody that I think these guys look at if Air Force One was attacked as a political opportunity for him to take his poll numbers and say, look, everybody's trying to kill me. They killed members of my cabinet. I don't think he would have cared. I think he would have used this in an opportunistic manner because he recklessly and diabolically used American citizens, members of his own cabinet, members of the press, members of the military as decoys. They had credible intelligence that the Iranians or some other nefarious actor wanted to shoot the plane down. So obviously the plane shouldn't have taken off, or at least they shouldn't put American citizens on it. It should have been driven by a robot or something. But are we serious right now? Could you imagine if Barack Obama or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or even George W. Bush sent their cabinet and members of the press and members of the military on a decoy plane saying, hey, hit this one. We're going to hide a little catering cart boy over here in this plane. Ha ha.
So she is absolutely right. If this was any other president, there would be total outrage, especially on Fox News and all these right-wing paid influencers. They would all be wetting their panties. But since cowardly Trump did it, it's okay. It's no problem. Whatever. All right, now we're going to go to the White House where coward Trump decided to go on one of his racist rants. This time he went after Somali Americans. Here's the clip.
These are people that have been not successful. They're people that have been, in many cases, failures. They come from other failed countries, and they come here and they tell us how to run our country. They come from places like I won't mention because I don't want to get myself into a controversy, but they come from countries that are not great. They come from, let's say, as an example, Somalia. They come in and then they tell us how our Constitution, how our Declaration of Independence, how it works. It doesn't work that way, and they're not smart. They have no aptitude. They have nothing going, and they're telling us how to run our country.
Okay, no, actually, Somali Americans are not telling us how to run our country, although South African immigrant Elon Musk is telling Americans how they should run their country. And as far as not being smart and not having any aptitude, let's not forget Donald Trump had 6 bankruptcies. He ran 6 casinos into the ground. He is a 34-time convicted felon. He's an adjudicated rapist, and he had to pay $25 million to the people that he ripped off with his fake Trump University. I mean, the man is nothing more than a con man. He's absolutely pathetic. And speaking of pathetic, last night they had the Republican primary for Minnesota, and Michelle Tafoya became the U.S. Senate candidate for the Republicans in Minnesota. Now, Michelle's prior experience is being a reporter for the NFL Network. That's right. She reported on football. So now she is the Republicans' nominee for the U.S. Senate from Minnesota. Here's a clip of Michelle lecturing Americans about what to do about high gas prices back in March when the Iranian war was still going on, and it's still going on today. Here was her lecture for Americans to use less Starbucks. Let's watch.
I think right now, at least just kind of keeping a stiff upper lip. Maybe you take one less trip to Starbucks, and so that gas goes a little further until this thing is over and these gas prices come back down again. Let's just try to be patriots about this.
Okay, so I wonder what Michelle is thinking right now. That was back in March. We're in August. There is no end in sight for this war, and gas prices are much higher than they were in March. So, Michelle, what's your great advice for us now? You got any more Starbucks advice for us? Because it ain't helping, babe. All right. And by the way, it's not just gas prices that are going up. Also, medical prices are going up. In fact, there was a recent study that showed 92% of American adults are not going to doctors because it's too expensive in Trump's America. The study was done by the financial services firm J.G. Wentworth, and it was reported on by The Independent. And it's really wild. The Independent also reports that ZocDoc did a February analysis that found the average doctor's office visit for somebody without insurance costs an average of $171 in most U.S. major cities. Also, the Kaiser Family Foundation found in a February poll that American consumers have $220 billion in medical debt, which is about $958 per adult. So again, that is Trump's economy. That is Trump's America. And Trump is planning to cut Medicaid in January because he just doesn't have any money for health care. But he does have $20 million to give to ICE for these new special gloves that will deliver painful electric shocks. The Independent reports on this. These gloves were created by a company called Compliant Technologies in Lexington, Kentucky. Jeff Nicholas, the founder and CEO of Compliant Technologies, said to The Independent, "Unfortunately, we are unable to speak on this subject." Actually, you are, Jeff. You just don't have a spine, and you don't want to lose your $20 million contract with Trump. Okay? But you are absolutely a Trump stooge. And Jen Borchetta of the ACLU says the public should have no confidence that ICE officers will use these devices appropriately. And this is so true. On our last episode, we showed you ICE officers pulling in front of a Virginia mom and blocking her with their van. Then they got out of their vans and they held guns to her head and falsely claimed that she tried to run them down. But her dash cam video showed they were clearly lying. All right, those are all the stories we have for today. We have links to all of our stories right below the video. Unlike the right-wing podcasters, Joe Rogan, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Riley Gaines, Kristen Hawkins, they never back up what they say. They are all paid influencers. They're making six-figure salaries to lie. And that's all they do. We back up every story in every single podcast. I want to thank everybody who subscribed to this channel. If you like this show, it's your first time watching it, please like and subscribe. If you hate it, please hate and subscribe. If you hate me, definitely subscribe. And we'll be back later with more stories.